we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
We are here to warn you about the dangers of the overuse of antibiotics, an epidemic that is ravishing the earth and leaving behind deadly diseases. Whoosh!
Like me, my name is Streptococcus, and I have been infecting people since the 16th century AD.
On September 28th of 1928, an incredible discovery was made by a scientist by the name of Alexander Fleming. Walking into the lab, he expected the same bad results as prior experiments. When he picked up the petri dish, there was minimal bacteria growth. He had discovered penicillin. However, it wouldn't be until 10 years later that we were finally able to use penicillin to save lives.
Save lives? All it does is kill my friends.
Today, there are over 100 different types of antibiotics used to eliminate bacterial infections. We thought antibiotics were a complete miracle, but today they are causing more problems than we expected. Antibiotic resistance is a result of random mutation found in bacteria. These random mutations can cause resistance to antibiotics, which would work on normal bacteria, and over time, these resistant bacteria are selected as a result of the overuse of antibiotics. For example, when an antibiotic is used to treat a bacterial infection, the only surviving bacteria are the resistant bacteria. As we continue to overuse antibiotics, we are only being left with resistant bacteria that can cause detrimental effects. In the 50s, antibiotics were introduced into the food industry, and farmers began feeding their livestock antibiotics. At first, we only saw the benefits, like more food production, less disease in livestock, and higher quality produce. But now, we are seeing the gruesome effects. According to a study published in 2001, over 20% of meat produce contains salmonella in it, and over 84% of that salmonella is resistant to antibiotics. To continue, in a study done in 2011, about 25% of meat produce were found to contain antibiotic-resistant MRSA bacteria. As a result, over 35,000 people die a year from resistant bacteria found in food produce.
Haha, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions.
In addition, doctors have been overprescribing antibiotics for decades, using antibiotics to treat viral infections, which does not work, and prescribing antibiotics for every minor infection or illness. For example, a study done in the United Kingdom showed that 57% of the population thought antibiotics were able to fight viral infections. A study done in China showed that over 60% of university students had stashed antibiotics to use for illnesses even if antibiotics would have no effect. A US study showed that 43% of parents believed that antibiotics were a necessary tool to fight the common cold, an illness that antibiotics had no effect on. Overall, this has caused a spike in antibiotic-resistant bacterial infections, which has in turn made infections untreatable and more deadly.
You tried treating a virus with antibiotics? Wow, you guys really are stupid.
So, what's the solution? For starters, we need to be smarter about the ways we use antibiotics, rather than stopping to use them altogether. We must recognize that bacteria can often be helpful to us, and that antibiotics are useless against viral flus and coughs.
Bam!
Stop buying produce which has been treated with antibiotics. If companies and corporations begin to understand that they are losing money due to their use of antibiotics, they will start leaning towards not using antibiotics. Be an activist and an upstander. Communicate with the government on why antibiotics need to have more regulations when it comes to produce and use in the healthcare system.
Be safe.